Oh, welcome, ladies and gents. So, you guys in the States, obviously, essentially no one in the States likes James Corden. Well, we've got that in common, because no one in the UK likes him either. Alright, he's not a particularly liked dude. He got famous from one show, and that was it, really. He went to the States, and he hasn't been back since. No one really likes him over here, I can assure you of that. So, when the news broke, essentially that he was, well, you know, a bit of a Napoleon complex and a bit of an arsehole at a restaurant, it didn't come as a surprise to me and pretty much anyone who knows anything about Hollywood and the Hollywood types that associate around that sort of industry. But he's come out to try to defend himself. And it's not a good look, because he did actually come out and say, well, I'm above this. It's like, what? No, you're not. What do you mean you're above what? You egocentric little mamlet. So we're going to dive into this today because this is fascinating stuff, very comedic anyway. Before we do, ladies and gents, check out the link in the description box to Mr. H Reviews Live Archives. It's my second channel where you'll find live streams and clip highlight videos. So please do check that out, support that channel. There are very interesting conversations and discussions from fellow creators to industry professionals. You'll like it. You won't be disappointed. So, in the description box. But let's check this out. So he's been banned from a restaurant. And he's come out to try to address this and sort of run damage control. But no one likes him. And you know what? You know what's pretty evident about this as well? No one likes him in the States because of the time he's on. This is a show that you just fall asleep to. It's got a shitty little laugh track. You know, he's of the ilk where you say something and laugh track plays. Haha, must be funny. You're not funny, James. You're not a funny person. I've got more humour in my little toe than you have in your entire body. I mean, granted, they're about the same size because you are a Napoleon complex. But, yeah, you're not funny. So anyway, during Monday night's late show, the chastened late night host made a lengthy public apology. So he's come out to apologise now, finally, for being an arsehole. Finally. But, you know, as all these things go, it's not really what you expect. Right? James Corden addressed the seemingly ongoing drama surrounding his recent temporary ban from a New York restaurant for alleged abusive behaviour on Monday's episode of The Late Late Show, so literally last night. So following a week of intense scrutiny, speculation, and a fair deal of social media backlash, that's because no one likes you anyway, James, because you're an arsehole, and now it's just revealed that you're an arsehole. So yeah, of course, more backlash is going to come out. And then as well, like, more stories about him came out, as they all do. But anyway, a sheepish Corden took the time to explain what had happened and why he had said so little about his very public dust-up with the owner of the famed New York eatery, Balthazar. So in a recent interview with the New York Times, Corden had commented on the drama that initially stemmed from an Instagram post from the restaurateur Keith McNally, who revealed that he had the Brit comedian banned from Balthazar for being an abusive customer towards the restaurant servers, despite McNally later revealing in another post that Corden had apologised to him and he was no longer banned. He took to Instagram again to respond to comments Corden made to the Times, stating that he had an issue with the late night host claiming the whole drama was silly and that he hadn't done anything wrong on any level. I mean, yeah, if you're banned, I mean, look, you can't be abusive to restaurant servers. What are you doing? Alright, they work a pretty shitty job. Why are you doing that? And the comments that the restaurateur made was he joking or was he denying being abusive to my servers? Whatever Corden meant, his implication was clear he didn't do it, McNally wrote, adding that he had hopes that Corden would live up to his almighty initials and come clean. So on Monday's Late Late Show, a contrite and uncomfortable Corden did indeed come clean. He began by joking that he had switched his phone off for the last week, missing all the news about himself, but with his parents in the audience looking on, Corden dove into the controversy. And this is the thing, like, it's not funny, just address it head on, like you're hanging a lantern on it. And he says this: as some of you may have seen, last week there were stories about me being banned from a restaurant. He began before explaining that after McNally had initially posted on Instagram, he had considered a more immediate response on his own social media and decided to keep his counsel as he figured it was better to adopt a British attitude to the situation, trying to keep calm and carry on and never complain, never explain. But as my dad pointed out to me on Saturday, he said, "Son, well, you did complain, so you might need to explain. Look, when you make a mistake, you've got to take responsibility." So what followed was Corden's recollection of events, an attempt to provide context. Bearing in mind he's also said this was all silly anyway. He said he had a deep love for Balthazar and he went there to have breakfast with his wife and his friends, and he revealed that his wife had a serious food allergy and that the restaurant servers had gotten her order wrong 3 times, bringing her something she was allergic to, which made him react. As her meal came wrong to the table for the 3rd time, in the heat of the moment, I made a sarcastic, rude comment about cooking it myself, he said. And it is a comment I deeply regret. You know what? I bet that's not the case. Corden said the servers and managers were lovely about everything and very apologetic and even brought out champagne to the table. I mean, fucking hell. He then seemed to change tack. He said, "But there's the truth of it," he said somewhat defensively, "because I didn't shout or scream, I didn't jump up out of my seat, I didn't call anyone names or use derogatory language. I had been walking around thinking I hadn't done anything wrong, but the truth is I have. I made a rude comment and it was wrong, it was an unnecessary comment, it was ungracious to the server." Seeking to lighten the mood, Corden then talked about the backlash he faced by reading out some funny mean tweets aimed at him, and he ended the segment by another mea culpa saying, "I get it. I totally understand everybody getting upset and I accept everybody's opinion." Except for the owner of Balthazar, of course. He said, "I said to the owner that day that if I ever upset anybody, ever, it was never my intention." It just sounds like major bollocks. Corden concluded by pledging that he would apologise to Balthazar staff again in person next time he's in New York, if they let him in, that is. Which again is just, total nonsense. It'll be interesting to see what the restaurateur actually has to say, to be fair. It'll be interesting to see if he has. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, this just seems like major cope, quite frankly. If you ask me. Major cope. I don't know if he said anything. I don't think he has. No, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he said anything at all now. So that's interesting. It will be interesting to see if anything further is said. But yeah, look, James Corden, no one likes you in the UK. No, apparently no one likes you in the States either. But yeah, this is like Hollywood just exposing itself as the rude, narcissistic bumholes that they are. And you know what? I like it when they get exposed like this, because hopefully it gives them a bit of a reality check that you just can't run around treating people like that. Now look, let's take his story on face value. They get they get it wrong 3 times. It's very clear cut that the ingredient is so obviously on the plate that you can get it, not eat it and consume it. So it's not really a big deal, is it? Like, it's frustrating, but it's not really a big deal. You can't use the grievous allergy as something which is this is so bad, when the ingredient is clearly so large on a plate that you notice it instantly. It's not like she had an allergic reaction to it. So you're like, on one hand, you're saying, well, it's a really serious allergy, but we noticed it 3 times and she didn't have an allergic reaction. So it's clearly pretty obvious. And so that says to me that, what's the big deal? No harm. Nothing's happened. And I bet you anything he was a bumhole. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Take care.